What is going on, everybody? We are back here today, and we are going to be talking about the best way to farm your legendaries. So this is going to be pretty much if you're starting out as a new player, or if you're an intermediate player, or perhaps even if you're towards the late game end. This is how I would farm my legendaries, and there is a ton of characters out there now, and I know that if you're a new player or even if you're intermediate players, there is just a ton of different directions you can go towards, and this is personally, in my opinion, the direction that I would go if I was to start this game back from day one. And again, the whole point of getting these legendaries is because these characters are absolutely OP'd, and they stand shoulders above the rest. And hopefully this gives you guys a bit of insight and guidance on the direction you should go. But yeah, so without further ado, let's jump right into this. So we're going to start with phase one here, and this is not particularly a legendary team. These guys are the defenders, so Luke Cage, Punisher, Jessica Jones, Iron Fist, Daredevil. Everyone knows about these guys. This is pretty much the initial starting team you want to go at, especially when you're starting the game from day one. And essentially, pretty much from the get-go, you can start farming Punisher right on the first chapter. And then you also start with Luke Cage as well, but you want to, as you kind of progress through the first chapter, then you want to kind of move towards getting Luke Cage farmed. And eventually, once you get those two characters, you've already got some synergy between them. And then you'll have Spider-Man and Medic as well in that first starting roster. But then you want to get Jessica Jones as soon as you can, and then she'll be offering lots of energy to the other guys. And then eventually, once you hit, I believe it's level 30 or 25 or something, you can start farming in the arena, and you can start putting in some of these characters in there and start getting those arena shards, and then start farming Daredevil as well, and getting those lineup all composed of eventually of getting Iron Fist, and he is going to form the last piece to your guys' defenders. Just because these guys are a starting team doesn't mean that you're not going to ever use them again. These guys are going to prove rare, pretty worthy in Blitz. They're going to be a nice starting team in your raids. These guys will be, needed for future events as well, like block party events for ability materials. They'll also be needed for challenges, such as the gold one, where you need to throw in city heroes to get, or city characters, sorry, to kind of earn those gold orbs and your gold, which is essentially a very valuable resource in the game. And even in the latest game mode in Dark Dimension 3, they have trait-specific characters that are only allowed, and it's either these guys or it's either the Spiderverse characters. But again, I don't want to get too much into that. That's as all we need to get to here as well for phase one. We're going to start off here with phase two, which is the Guardian core. And I've got Yondu in there as well, because he is a Ravager that you need for this, for Star-Lord. He's going to be the first one you guys are looking for in terms of a 5-star legendary. We've got Iron Man in there as well, but again, you don't really need to focus in on the shield characters, or the minions, I should say, the shield minions, because again, you're gonna get them as you kind of progress through the game mode. But essentially with Yondu as well here, you can get them pretty much in the same chapter you get Punisher, so start farming him from day one, and then as you kind of progress through that campaign, you're gonna get options available with Blitz. And again, like I said, once you get that Defenders team going and you've got some scrappy minions, you want to start farming the Blitz as soon as you can and getting those milestone rewards. And if you've got 5 strong Defenders, put each one with 4 other crappy characters. So I mean, for example, if you've got Punisher, and then you got Spider-Man, Medic, and then you got a couple of those other AIM or Hydra minions, throw them in there. You don't need to have all 5 of them in one team to get that Blitz multiplier going. You can slap one of these characters, like the Defenders from phase one, and then put 4 other crappy characters, and that will kind of help get that multiplier going at the start for you, and kind of racking up those points early on. Because again, you'll see there in Blitz, you want to either focus on Gamora or you want to get Mantis. Both are good options. If you're looking for a little bit more sustain, I would go with Mantis, because she'll provide some heals, and then that's going to get you going as well here for your initial raid team outside of Defenders. Defenders is okay as a starting team, but again, once you get Star-Lord and you get Drax and you get all these other characters for the Guardians, you're going to have a very sustainable raid team, and it's going to be another step up for your arena team as well as you're progressing through that. And again, it's going to add another blitz team as well. So that's phase 2. And in the raid, I would just keep farming Raccoon. He's going to be one of the ones that's going to pop up most frequently at the start, but it's random. And I would say anytime he pops up, just have enough credits, save 2,000 or 3,000 in your inventory, and just always get Raccoon, and just don't stop until he's 5 stars, because again, you want to get at least 5 of these characters out of the 6 there in phase 2, so that way you can get Star-Lord unlocked. And once you get Star-Lord, he is a game changer, guys. He can blind, he does exceptional damage, and then he forms such powerful synergy with Raccoon and Groot and Drax and all the other Guardians. And yeah, that's really the first one you want to aim for. That's probably one of my favorite legendaries. He's definitely in my top 5 for sure. Definitely one of the better ones because of the fact that he can blind, and his blind is actually unavoidable as well. So if you can time it just right, you can really cripple enemy teams. Next on, we're going to move on with here is phase 3. Phase 3 gets a little bit more flexible because of the fact that we have Spiderverse, and we also have the Sinister Six crew mixed up in the mix here. So you guys will see that this is actually the best value out of all the legendaries. Spiderverse is one of the best ones to go for, because not only are they a very synergistic pair, and they can also kind of go interchangeably with each of these characters, but they also form the chance to get 2 legendaries unlocked. So for Shuri, she needs 5 Spider-Verse characters. So again, any of the Sinister Six characters, they carry that Spider-Verse tag. So that is really great. That pretty much means you're getting maximum value for your buck. So if you're trying to unlock both these characters in one single shot, then what I would do is go for 5 Spider-Verse characters, or excuse me, going for 5 Sinister Six characters. So Venom, you've got Green Goblin, you've got Blaster in there, and then Rhino, and then obviously Vulture or Mysterio as well here. But just kind of going for the Sinister Six tag, and that's going to get you both those legendaries. If having said that, you guys will notice that if you're just aiming for one and you're trying to go for Shuri early on, again, there's that flexibility. Let's say you've got Spider-Man, he's a starting one, and then you've also got you've been farming up Vulture in the arena. That's great. And then in the War Store, you've been farming up Carnage as well. Great. Then you've got Spider-Verse mixed in with the Sinister Six there, and those guys will also help unlock Shuri. Shuri is really amazing in raids. She's going to really help pair up with your Wakandans as well, but it doesn't matter. She has a lot of utility. You don't need to have her with Wakandans to be effective. It's either way, when you get her unlocked, she's going to be a very powerful asset to your team. And specifically, it adds another blitz team, goes really well in raids as well here. But like I said, guys, this one's really nice because you can start farming early on. And if you look at the blitz as well, you can start farming Miles, Spider-Man, or even Rhino pretty much from day one. But like I said, putting an emphasis on the Guardians first. Once you get Star-Lord unlocked, great, you can kind of go off and do your own drill there. If you don't want to go that route and you want to save those blitz credits for other characters, then farm the other ones. Farm Green Goblin, farm Venom, farm the ones you can, and by then hopefully you'll have Star-Lord. That's going to really help with getting a lot of those higher cosmic / mystic nodes completed, just because you guys will notice that a lot of those phase 2 characters, they fall in that category of the mystic cosmic campaigns, and it's just going to have that synergy overall moving forward. But yes, that's phase 3, guys. So again, best value for your buck, and again, it kind of gives you that flexibility which direction you want to go. Next phase, this one gets a little bit more divergent, and this is one where I will leave it up to you guys here, but you guys will see that we've got the X-Men crew with the Brotherhood, and that's going to form the initial 5 that you need for Magneto, who's going to come in really handy in arena wars. In wars, in raids, not as a sustainable raid team, but as one that can pretty much do a massive punch in the face before you throw in your good raid teams. So again, a very powerful teams, and it's going to help again with arenas, and the Brotherhood team is just it's just phenomenal overall. I think in offensive ability, prowess, especially in Alliance Wars. And but down below here, you notice that I also got the Kree minions, and obviously that's going to be important for unlocking Nick Fury. And we'll just go into the next slide here. So this is what I call Phase 4, and again, you guys will see that with Magneto, we only need 5 X-Men or Brotherhood characters. And again, just keep that in mind that if you do want to form a team around Magneto, you don't necessarily need to have a Brotherhood team. But again, pretty much from day one, you're getting shards for Wolverine. You're going to start earning those shards pretty much from day one, so that's great. That pretty much takes care of one character. You don't even really need to farm. Colossus, you can't really farm him until later on in the Heroes chapter, and he just got released. I don't recommend focusing on him. Mystique, on the other hand, once you get through villains fairly quickly here, and once you get the Defenders core going, you can pretty much start farming Mystique right away here. And then again, in the Arena store and in the Raid store, you can start farming those other Brotherhood characters, and then that's pretty much where you got the 4 or 5 characters you need. And in War, I was pretty much focusing on either Pyro or Sif. So Sif is another Asgardian, we'll talk later on, but again, those were the only ones I was really focusing on. And as you will see here, it gives you that flexibility because there is a ton of characters you can start farming right away here for Magneto. Having said that, you can also go the other route, and if you're kind of more towards a sustainable raid team, it's also very effective on Arena and in Blitz as well. It's Nick Fury, and the way to get him unlocked is the Kree teams. So again, you can start farming some of these Krees early on in the hero nodes and Cosmic, and then you can start farming the Kree Guard as well in Blitz if you wanted to go that route, and same with the Kree Oracle, which is also in raids. So that's how you get Nick Fury unlocked. Unfortunately, with Nick Fury, it isn't just getting him unlocked. You also need to have his whole array of shield minions as well for him to be effective. That's not to say he's not good on his own. He's still very good if you can put him with Captain America, Black Widow, other Avengers, other shield characters. You know, you're going to get those shards as you kind of progress through the game. But again, like I said, more characters to worry about. And in my opinion, if I had to pick one or the other, I would go with Magneto. He offers way more benefits over Nick Fury just because of the offensive prowess you'll get. And on top of that, if you're already farming some of those key characters that are going to be going with Magneto, for example, Juggernaut, Sabretooth, or Pyro, that's just going to go already coincide with the fact that you're getting him unlocked first. Nick Fury, you can kind of build those Kree minions, oracles, and all those kind of as you progress through the game. But like I said already, trying to focus directly on minions versus heroes. In my opinion, I will always focus on the heroes over the minions directly. Kind of silly, to be honest. I don't know why they threw the Kree minions in there originally for the unlock, but that's what they decided. Luckily for us, like I said, it's entirely up to you with which direction you guys want to go. But like I said, if I had to pick one or the other, I would go with Magneto. And that brings us to our last one, which is the Asgardians. So this is Phase 5, and the Asgardians are also coupled with a late game pair, which is also a mix of a random mesh as well with heroes and minions, but that kind of goes towards a Phoenix. So as you guys will see here, this is the last phase, and this is pretty much the end of the end game of the end game. This is what you want to focus on. We've got the Black Bolt event going on right now, and then we've got Phoenix. She needs 6 stars for all these characters. So that's unique in that instance because of the fact that not only do you have to push them to 5 stars, you also got to get them to 6 stars, which is absolutely just crazy. So again, this is why we're leaving it at the end. There's no point in focusing on this early on because it's going to create a lot of stress for you, right? If you're focusing on Mordu, if you're focusing on trying to farm Loki early on, it's just going to create more mayhem. Just let these character shards build, and as you kind of progress through the game and as you kind of get those other legendaries unlocked, these ones will also come by as well. And nobody wants to farm Nobu and Hand Assassin from day one. It's just yes, you can, but it's just not reasonable. And again, throwing minions in there for character unlocks, I don't like how they did that. Same with Nick Fury. I have never been a fan of it, but it is what it is. So if I had to pick one of these two, I mean, obviously, if I had to go with one direction or the other, I would actually go with the Phoenix route because this is the one that's it's gonna get more value out of your buck. I'll tell you guys why. Because in order to get Black Bolt, you also need to get Sif and Hela up to 5 stars. And these characters are so late game that it's just absolutely doesn't give you that reward ratio. On top of that, in order to get to villains, the last chapter, which they just released a month ago, you need top tier characters, and you also need trait characters that are pretty much past 40, 50, 60,000 power level per character. And not to mention, they've also got to be at least 3 or 4 red stars as well here. So like I said, I was able to do the nodes successfully, but I'm pretty late game. And like I said, if you're trying to get that done and you're trying to focus on that, it's going to create more stress than not. So focus on Phoenix. You know, you've got a little bit of the other characters that you can easily farm, like Mordu in the arena store. You can get Ronin in the raid store pretty easily. And once you kind of go through the mystic nodes and the villain nodes, you got that option there. I would focus on Nobu and Loki versus trying to go for Hela, because like I said, she's pretty late game, and you need some pretty top tier characters, top tier villains actually, because it's in the villains node. But again, and on top of that, Black Bolt doesn't offer as much benefits, in my personal opinion, as Phoenix. I believe out of the 2 characters, if I had to pick one or the other, I would go with Phoenix, because she does the revive, she does the ultimate burst that strips all the buffs. She's very, very good right now in Dark Dimension 3. I'm currently using her, and she is absolutely phenomenal. Black Bolt, yes, he does a massive amounts of damage, but he's a direct counter to Ultron and Red Skull. And I mean, really, the only thing that would really benefit you guys if you get Black Bolt is if you want to compete higher in the arena shards, and if you're trying to compete pretty high end on the Alliance Wars. But again, like I said, everyone by that time is going to have Phoenix and Black Bolt. So I mean, just focus on Phoenix. Black Bolt, those character shards are going to come in handy anyways. If you're trying to get Loki, he's going to come in later on. And then once you start farming Sif as well in the War Store, and then getting Thor through raids, it's just going to come to you guys as you kind of progress through the game here. But yes, that's all I got for today, guys. That's the list I would go for. And again, this is how I would do it if I was to start from day 1 again. And just to kind of give you guys an example here, this is a shout out to my to one of my pals here on Discord. He's from my Alliance, and Rage, he was shout out to you, brother. He was able to post his roster to me, and this isn't his entire exclusive list of roster, but he wanted to just give me a shout out here because he was looking for guidance on the direction on how he would kind of attack and tackle on his farming. He started the game back in January, I think mid-January, so he just missed that the Heimdall event. But luckily, luckily he did get in the time where Tadano Mac, the guy that completed Dark Dimension 3 first, he was able to get in on a lot of nice offers, like the Hela shards, the Sif shards, all the little bonus packs, even the anniversary with Captain Marvel. So you guys will take a look here at this roster. But as you can see here, he started farming his defenders first, and you can see there that they've pretty much got them all up to 5 stars. And now he's focusing on his Guardians, so his Gamora, his Rocket, his Groot, and all those guys. And in the meantime, he understands that the Asgardians are completely late game. But what he's been doing is he's been trying to get his Thor up. He's been trying to farm his Sif shards as well here in the War Store, because he wants to get some of these characters up so he can use them in Blitz. And so far so good, brother. So far so good. And as you guys will see there too, he's also focusing quite a bit on the Sinister Six / Spiderverse characters. Luckily for him as well, we've got Symbiote, the event going right now, so he's been able to get some shards on that guy. And on top of that, you guys will see that he is working on those Kree minions down at the bottom there as well here. So he's doing a little mixed match of both, but he's taking a lot of that guidance from me. And hey, I just want to show you guys an example of what the roster looks like there. And as you guys can tell, he's moving he's moving in the right path here. So he has not focused on Phoenix or any of the minions needed for her. He's just been kind of playing along here, and even with the Kree minions, he says he's just been opening up Blitz orbs, and he hasn't really been targeting any specific characters. He says he gets more value out of the orbs, but again, that's I'll leave that up to you guys. If you want to be more directive and you want to buy those characters for 500 shards, go for it. But he's been opening a lot of the orbs up because he doesn't have those characters. And if you want more value, orbs sometimes are the way to go. Blitz orbs and raid orbs if you don't want that direction, but it gives you a little bit of gold back, and it gives you a little bit of extra shards. But yes, that's all we got for today, guys. Hopefully this guide has helped you guys out in terms of kind of giving you some direction if you're, you know, obviously overwhelmed by the amount of characters and in which direction should you go for farming. But like I said already, you know, take it as you will, and as you kind of progress through the game's a marathon, not meant to be a sprint. These rosters will slowly build, and you just got to take your time with it, guys. No point in rushing it. And yeah, Rage, your roster is looking good, brother. Just keep it up, man. And yeah, we will see you guys. We will see you guys next time. Everyone, stay safe, and as always, guys, happy gaming.